Okay, here we go. My water. Get comfortable in your space. Ooh, I should have socks on. My feet are freezing. All right, I have to try to remember this microphone is nice and close to my mouth, so I must enunciate. So we're getting centered, letting go of what came before class. Don't think about what you think might happen after class. Staying present using the breath. Belly rising with your inhale and softening completely with your exhale. As we're watching the breath, in the background we have the body, and sometimes we're aware of things going on and sometimes we're not. It just depends on the day, on your personality, on a million other things. So just kind of let that stay in the background and make those little adjustments. So you might be up here with your shoulders and not realize it until you sit still and calm your mind with your breath. So that being said, I'll just do those little reminders of commonalities, like softening your face, relaxing the shoulders, noticing if the hands or the toes are gripping. After we feel a little bit more centered and present, it's easier to set our intention. So go ahead and think about what you want to focus on during your class. I'm going to let somebody in, or how you would like to feel during your class and after your yoga practice. There's lingering effects, right? Once you feel like you have your intention, you can bring your palms together, heart center. We'll take the thumbs and press them right into that sternum. Let your chin come down toward your fingers. Keep the shoulders nice and low. Then we'll lift the gaze, drop the hands, and then take the chin back down again. So working on the neck, so the rest of our body can easily practice our yoga. So just slowly nodding. Hear Claire nibbling her leg in the background. All right, so the next time your chin is down, go ahead and leave it down, and then we'll roll the head off to one side without moving the shoulders, and then roll your head over to the other side. I always wonder if you can hear what I hear. In my background noise, I hear our neighbor dog's socks. You almost never hear socks barking. There must be somebody out there. Okay. The next time your ear is over your right shoulder, let it stay there. And then we'll extend the left arm out about 45 degrees. You can stay there if that feels good. You can amplify the stretch a little bit by taking your fingers right above your left ear, your top ear, and then pushing your head up into your hands rather than trying to force your head down. So it's pushing your head up. Make sure you're breathing comfortably and you're not overdoing it. So always staying in comfortable range of motion. I'm going to take these right fingers and bring them underneath the head and then bring your head back upright. Take a little shrug in between sides. And another. Good. Okay. Now reposition your posture or become aware of your posture, because we have tendencies to go back to our neutral, our normal, which can be kind of slumpy sometimes. I should speak for myself, and I am. So we're going to be tall and drop left ear over left shoulder. You could stay here, right? Everything's modifiable. Right arm maybe comes out about 45 degrees, palms open and facing to the front. And then maybe we add the fingers, pushing the head up into the hand. Okay, and then softly, gently release the hand. Let it come underneath your head if you need to. Bring it up, bring your head on straight, and shrug as high as you can go. And then let's go as slowly as we can. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears to create a nice long neck. Do that one more time. Good. And then with the shoulders resting away from the ears, just take a little freedom of movement. Let's go a little bitty movement side to side, and then we'll increase and gradually get a little bit more mobility in the neck. Keeping it slow, and the breath is nice and easy. And when you feel like you cannot go any further, we're going to come back to neutral. Good. And just kind of wiggle it out a little bit. And I think we're ready for our twist. So remembering the twist is starting at the belly. You can imagine you have a spotlight right at your navel. So I'm going to spotlight over to the right. And maybe it just shines on my right knee, and that's okay. You can get a tiny bit of leverage. I don't even want to use the word leverage. It's less than. Is there a word less than leverage? To get into the twist a little deeper, and then maybe the spotlight moves up to your heart, aiming your heart over to your right. Are you still able to breathe comfortably? That's the key here. Let the shoulders melt away from the ears. On your inhale, bring everything back gently to your center. Good. Reevaluate and see how imbalanced you might feel. And then we'll take that belly spotlight over to the left. Take a breath. And the heart comes over to your left. Maybe the gaze over your left shoulder. Keep the shoulders down and relaxed away from your ears. On your inhale, come back to your center. And we'll lean forward just a little, and then come back up. And try it again, maybe a little further. So we're just stretching into the low back and coming back up. And one more time. So today, as you know, if you read the email, we are working more on things that affect our balance, or AKA fall prevention. Not the season, we can't prevent that season, but it's everybody's favorite season, fall. So we are going to work a lot on the skills portion of our fall prevention. And when you encompass fall prevention, you're thinking about a million things, too many to share in one class. So, and I did a little blurb on eyesight, which is really important. Just like our proprioception is affected when we turn out the lights. That's why it's good to have a night light on in the middle of the night when you're going to the bathroom, because it affects how we perceive ourselves in space. And what else was I going to mention about that? Oh, it'll pop into my head. So, flexibility. So working more on flexibility, because if we're stiff, we're more likely to not bend our joints and not function well and take more spills, I'll call them. So that being said, low back is a big thing with a lot of people. So we do this almost every class, right? So we're coming to the edge of the chair with the feet nice and wide, making sure that the ankles are right below the knees. And then we're going to start out slowly so we can feel opposite shoulder to knee. Keep your bottom on the chair And then we'll just hinge forward and lengthen through the spine. So it's like someone's trying to pull your head forward gently. And then over to the other side. And then we're going to come up. And it might feel really good to take that kind of a cat pose here. So I'm going to pause and tuck the chin and stretch the spine and come back to neutral. Let's do that one more time in the same direction that we were going. And oh, that feels good. I can even feel it in the belly today. And then come back to mountain pose, so as tall as you can feel. And we're going around slowly, mindfully, twice in this direction. Make sure you're breathing. And it's funny, I don't know about you guys, but when I know I'm only going to do 2 more, I tend to speed things up. So I want to stay slow and mindful and purposeful. And then come back and kind of feel, take a moment, settle in, and listen to your body. So my body's saying, do a little bit more, just make it more fluid-like. So I like to think about, when I'm doing this, think about what's feeling the stretch and comparing. So I feel it more on this side than I do on this side today. I feel like my neck's not getting any fluidity, so I'm also going to let the head fall forward a little bit and side to side. You can switch directions at any point. Making sure the breath is flowing nicely. And then we can come back to mountain pose. Let's take our lateral stretch for the spine. We'll do a little side to side flow and then a hold. So I'll always offer starting without the arms, just in case you have any shoulder issues. And you can also modify by taking your elbows up. Or you can get that full effect by reaching up and over. You want a true lateral, so I cannot see my arm in my peripherals. All right. So the next time that your right arm comes up, let's take it straight up. Good. I'm inching, and sometimes I forget to say this. My body just automatically knows I want to go wider with this base so I don't fall out of my chair. Then I'm going to turn my palm so it would face down toward the floor. This is modifiable too, of course. So I'm reaching over and then just coming back. And extend and reach. So we don't want to overstretch. So my mind kind of, my eyeballs focus down onto the floor. It's almost like I'm closing my eyes to feel inside the body so I don't overdo it. And then come on back. This is the fun part in yoga, is feeling the difference, right? A little lopsided. So we better do the other side before our internet cuts out. Just start out where you are. Back it up and then see if you can go maybe a little deeper stretch, maybe not. And maybe a hold for a breath or so. Use your core muscles to come back. And it still feels a little lopsided-y just because it's so asymmetric. So to get things back in order, we'll take a good solid couple of cat-cows. Make sure you're breathing. And then we will pop back up. And let's see here. We want to get started on our acronym of our agility. I'm trying not to look at my notes. Agility, balance, coordination, speed, and power. So there's some that we want to do seated for sure before we come up to standing, just because it gets a little complicated. And that one going out of order is with speed, because we don't do fast things in yoga. Most of us don't do fast things in life anymore. We did a lot when we were kids, right? That's why kids are so resilient, because they have lots of practice. So we'll practice our speed by running those feet. And it could just be your heels, right? If you have hip stuff going on or your knees, I'm going to try to run fast like Fred Flintstone. So fast feet. You can run with your arms too if you wanted to. And then we'll work on, let's see, fast feet. Yep, this is still speed. And then stop. And then go. Fast feet. And stop. And go. So this stopping and going is all part of the training, right? And help us with fall prevention skills. Okay, stop. And if we experience fast feet, our brain remembers that. Now we're going to try fast hands. So a fast clap. You don't have to be loud about it. It can just be really fast. And then stop. Fast clap. And stop. Okay. So now we're going to slow march. Just kind of get how, kind of adjust how that feels. And maybe we'll just match the stomping speed with the clap speed. We'll try that version today. Okay, now let's see what it feels like to do the fast march or running with a slow clap. Okay, and you can stop and try the fast clap with a slow march. Yeah, and if you play a musical instrument, I see what you're saying, and that it might be a little easier. Are you breathing? Now try a slow clap with fast feet. All right, and then just take a moment and pause and be like, okay, I'm done with that for now. So let's see. If you wanted to stay seated, you can, and I'll try to remember to cue those modifications for you. So pushing into the floor, if you're ready to come up, put your weight into those feet, those newly rejuvenated feet, right? And then come all the way up to standing. I have this microphone to tend to. So I'll try not to do anything too awkward to modify how this positioning is on the back side. So we're going into down dog. If you're seated, you're going to do a child's pose and just kind of reach forward. And you can pedal your feet. So we want to feel the stretch in the spine. You want a long, elongated spine, tailbone pointing back, pedaling your feet. So the bottoms of the feet have flexibility options too, right? We're going to look forward and let's stretch the back of the left leg by going into Warrior One. So I'm just going to take a step forward with the right foot and think about flexibility on the back of that left leg. So if you want to, you can just take one arm up or two arms to come into traditional Warrior One. Gaze is forward. Check in with your breath. And then go back into that mode where breath is important, of course, in the forefront of the mind's eye. And then in the background is noticing what's going on with the body. On your exhale, you can release your arms. Use your core muscles to step that right foot back. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit if it'll let me. Okay, and then thinking about the back of that right leg, it's going to stay pretty much where it is. Maybe the toes angle out a little bit. Left leg stepping forward enough to where you feel the stretch in the back leg. Also the hip flexor, hips are forward. And you want to adjust the length, the distance between your feet to your comfort level. Shoulders stacked over hips, maybe one arm, maybe two arms up. How is your breath and what is your body doing? Can you relax the shoulders? Are you clenching anything that doesn't need to be clenched? When you're ready to exhale, you can lower those arms. Use your core muscles to come on back to down dog. And then we'll walk those feet forward and start in on our more of our skills related stuff. So agility. Yay. I sneak this in to our regular practice anyway. So I've got my feet kind of a good shoulder distance apart. They're going to stay shoulder distance, but I'm going to take like a casual step forward with my, that would be your right foot. Yep. And then just start to weight shift back and forth. You can bring in an arm swing just for fun. You're also working on stretching the back foot, right? And the dorsiflexion on the front. So we're doing a number of things. Right. You want to keep your gaze forward instead of looking down. So that keeps the posture upright, nice and tall. Okay. And the next time you shift your weight to your back leg, pause, and then just switch your feet. But make sure feet stay shoulder distance apart. Good. And then you're on the other side before you know it. Weight shifting. Again, this is agility. It's a practice for the mind more than anything, I feel like, you know? I mean, it feels kind of, I don't know, just like basic or somewhat easy because both feet are still on the earth, right? But it's also that stopping and going backwards too. That's nice mind practice for agility. All right, so the next time that your weight is in the back leg, go ahead and come back. We're kind of doing the same thing side to side. So make sure your feet are wider than shoulders. Your toes are level, right? And it's a true side to side, true lateral. You can put your hands out. You could have a chair in front of you, right? Knees should not be in agony. No pain there. And again, shoulders stay over hips. So if you're here, you're not going to get as much benefit as if you were here. Good. Yeah. All right. And then just a few more side to side. And then come on back. I like to take a chair pose, keeping it yoga. Utkatasana, sit the hips back. Knees going forward. We can take hands to heart center. If you want more work, reach those arms up. How's your breath? Squeeze your imaginary block right between your femurs. Yeah, and then come back up. Good. All right. Balance. This specific balance practice, dynamic is more effective than static. So leg abduction. I don't know why I'm looking at my notes so much. It's all in here in my brain. So abduction and adduction of the leg works those muscles. Here, and it also works the standing leg muscles. Dynamic is moving. If you're having a little trouble, hold on to something gently without relying on it 100%. Or you could toe touch, right? Tap and tap. You could do this seated. You won't have the same exact benefit, but you'll still get a benefit. If you're seated, you'd be picking up a leg and stepping it off to the side. So let's do a couple more. And then plant your foot. Ooh, feel the imbalance. And shift your weight over to your other leg. We're going side to side. Dynamic balance. Are you glad we're not standing on a block or a small platform? We're on the ground. Couple more. Are you breathing? And then plant your foot. You could take an active mountain pose, option A. If you want more work, try a chair pose, Utkatasana. Heart stays lifting forward. And then we'll come back nice and tall and do our heel lifts with an option to hold on for sure, right? lifting with the inhale, exhale, lowering. You could also bring in your arms, inhale, lifting, and exhale, lowering. Sorry, on my video, my arms are getting cut off. They're just staying up nice and tall. Shoop. All right, let's do 3 more, 2 with arms. And then the last one with no arms. Yeah, almost fell forward. So we're lifting into our high heels. We've got our stilettos on. Let's just test in the waters and try not to grip your toes. That's another fun challenge. And then we're going to sink the heels down and another chair pose. All right, and come back. I'm going to keep hydrating. Here's my commercial for drink more water. Coordination. Anytime we cross the midline of the body, or we're doing one thing with one side and a different thing with another side of the body. So if you want to, you can sit back down and do this. We are going to, let's start with, I'm moving away from my chair here, so I have arm space. We're going to start with your right heel coming forward and your arms, let's just do the left arm coming out to the side and come back. Same thing, so I'm going to mirror you. Right heel forward, left arm out. And not crossing the midline here, so we don't want to do that yet. So heel in front, opposite arm to the side. We're doing the same thing over and over so the brain gets used to it. So it's still just your right heel, left arm. Right heel, left arm. So the same thing over and over. We're not going side to side yet. Good, let's do 2 more. So we're basically tricking our brain to think that this is easier than it is. So I laugh maniacally. All right, so now we're on the left heel, right arm. Left heel, right arm, over and over again. You could be holding on to the chair if you need to, or the wall. Not your window. Probably not the best option. Are you breathing? One more. Good. If I haven't said this before, you could totally do that seated, and you can do this next one seated too. We're gonna alternate. So it's hard for my brain because I'm mirroring you. So right heel in the front, left arm to the side, and then come back and switch. Left heel in front, right arm to the side. Right heel, left arm. Left heel, right arm. And just keep going back and forth. We're working coordination, basically like learning dance moves, right? If it's too easy, you can speed it up, but I'm going to keep it at this pace and make sure you're breathing. So we have half a warrior 2 arms. All right, 1 more to each side. And then let's just take an extended mountain, reach those arms up if you can. Draw the ribs in the front, draw those in, and the ribs in the back going down and softening away from your ears. Let's bring the palms together down to heart center, hit the pause button, and just take a moment to feel where you can let go. Because with the challenge of coordination, it can be a little breath robbing, but we're not done with coordination, so we're going to continue. So the next one is going to be your right heel in front, come back, and then your left toes go out to the side. So it's heel front, toes to the side. Just like tap class when you were 4. So heel front, toes side. So the brain's having to figure this out. Right heel in the front, your left heel to the side. Eventually we'll switch, but we'll give it 2 more. sequences. And last one. Yeah, you can bring tap dance arms in too if you want. All right, so then we're going to just switch sides. So now we have the left heel in front and the right toes to the side. Making sure that you always keep that distance between your feet and they're not coming together, because that also affects your balance. That's why when I instruct boxing, we don't box like this because you'll fall over. We have that ready stance. So think of a ready stance here as well. All right, one more, heel and toe. And then we're going to try to alternate back and forth. So right heel, left toes. And then you're just going to take that left foot, place it back where it belongs, the starting position, and then hit it forward. Your left heel forward, right toes side. Then right heel, toes, heel, toes. Same leg, heel. I feel like if I talk, it's going to mess you guys up. I'll just keep quietly doing it. Heel, toes. Whoops. Heel, toes, heel. All right. And then we're just going to come back and shake it all off. The hands. Get those arms up nice and high. And come down. You can hold on to something. We're just going to shake a leg. And the other leg. Good. All right. Ooh, back to our speed. So it's easy to do it seated. Let's try it standing. So we're going to do fast feet. And again, watch your hips, watch your knees. You could imagine you're going really fast with just your heels going doot, 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 doot. Or you can go a little faster with lifting your whole feet up, little jogs. And then practice stopping. And go again, fast. And stop. And fast. And stop. And then we're going to try our fast feet and slow hands next. So when you're ready, fast feet, and you could always come down to seated. Slow hands. Fast feet, slow hands. Good. Now we'll pause to give our brain a okay, it's all good message. And then we're going to try our fast hands and slow feet. Fast hands, slow feet. Now what if we don't pause the brain and we have to go fast feet, slow hands? Yay. All right, and then we can be done with that. Shake it all off again. And I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to save power for when we come down to our seated position. So we are back into yoga, full on yoga mode. So with our warrior two, we'll take the feet out nice and wide, turn the right toes, and bend into your right knee. Knee is externally rotated so you can see your big toe, maybe your second toe. Rotate the shoulders so they're anchored over the hips, and maybe you take the arms out, maybe not. So we're going to look over the tip of the right middle finger and reach and try to touch the walls on either side of the room. And there's our breath awareness. In the foreground and the background is the body. Where are we clenching and holding? Sometimes it's the mind. Sometimes we're getting those should messages, like I should be able to keep my arms up forever. All right, we're going to lower the arms and take a little side angle. Maybe the hands stay on the hips. Maybe you rest your hand on your thigh or on your chair. And perhaps you want to take that arm up. Fingers skyward, palm facing forward. If you want to deepen, which we're good and stretched out and prepared for a deeper side stretch, but not every day is the same. So if you wanted to, you can try to take your palm toward the floor. And I'm checking in. I got a death grip on my chair, so I'm going to lighten that. Use your pelvic floor muscles or your core muscles to come back up through Warrior Two. And then we're going to release the arms and do something a little different for this stretch. So hopefully you have a desk or a chair or something in front of you. I'm going to place both hands on that chair and just see what happens if I lean here over towards. So this is in lieu of having blocks on the floor. You could go a little more if that feels okay, but I'll just demonstrate here. Hands are on the chair. I can look down and see my knee stacked directly over ankle. And then come back up. Good. So my chair is over here. I wish I had another chair right in front, but it would block the video. So I'm going to notice how far apart my legs are and turn toward my chair and just take a wide-legged, it's in variation of a forward fold. We don't want to do any forward folds here. You can soften your knees. So kind of like a wide-legged chair down dog. Softening the knees so they're not locked. Lengthening through the spine. Maybe keep your head above your heart. Especially if you're taking care of any eye issues, heart issues, or anything going on in your head. And to come out, I'm just going to soften the knees even more and step it in. And let's take an upward facing dog. So I'm just going to push into the chair, lift up through the heart. And come back, hit the pause button, check in with your intention. I'm going to switch my chair around to the other side. Okay, and then we'll do our Warrior Two sequence over here with our wide feet. Left toes, your left toes turn, bend into left knee. Do that toe check. And like I always say, the shoulders want to go that way, but they're rolling back so everything stays into alignment here. And then you can take your arms out. Enjoy your Warrior Two with awareness into the breath. Sometimes that awareness of the breath and maybe the lack of breath, maybe you feel constricting somewhere, and that it's in that awareness that we can realize, I didn't know I had my shoulders hugged up to my ears or that my stomach was clenching. So that's one of the many benefits of yoga and that mindful awareness. We're going to go ahead and drop those arms. You can take them first to your hips and then start into your side angle. So you want shoulders directly over the legs. And then you can play around with where you want this top arm. That would be your right arm. Maybe it comes up and over, relying less on your thigh or less on your chair. Keeping your neck happy. So sometimes there's stiffness going on in the neck. Use your core muscles and your pelvic floor muscles to come back up through Warrior Two. And then we'll relax the arms and we'll see if this works for you on this side. So taking both hands to your prop, your chair, right? And make an adjustment if you need to with the back leg. We're just getting another variation of a stretch here. And using those core muscles to come back, all the way back up. And then we're going to do that wide-legged. So normally I would just turn here and do a wide-legged stretch in that way, but I want to use my chair, so I'm just turning my whole body over. So I can use my chair, or you could use the wall, remembering not to lock your knees. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. They're just kind of all over the place. One more breath. And we'll rise up, bend those knees a lot, bring them together, feet together. Walk your feet up behind the chair, pushing into the chair to lift the heart. And drop the chin and find that pause button again so you can practice feeling into the moment. Instead of rushing from one thing to another, to another, to another throughout our day, try to remember to pause. Okay, and then we will get ready to take a seat with that power option. So, basically, chair pose, right? And right in front of the chair, take 3 counts to come down towards seated, and then 1 count to come back up. So giving us practice in power. Good. 1, 2, 3, and then pop back up. So I'm not sitting all the way down. And this is definitely a thing you don't want to do with bad knees. It should not hurt. You would sit back down into the chair and work on your push squeeze. If you're not sure what that is, you could watch that in another video. This is for the recording people. And usually you do about 10 of these. I'm not counting. So let's do 2 more, and the second one will just come all the way down to seated. Like this one right here. All the way down. We always want to sit nice and slowly so we don't crash land. All right, and then get resituated in your mindful mountain seated variation. And it's already time for our final twist. So we're going into that, twisting to your right. And really become aware of how deeply you can take that breath. On your inhale, come back to your center, and exhale, twist the other way. On your inhale, back to center, and we'll exhale and lean forward. On your inhale, come up, and from the core space, from the pelvis, you're going to engage those muscles and lean back. I'm not using my chair back. I'm a couple inches away, so I can think about core strength. Core strength is also really important for balance, fall prevention, of course. So maybe you pick up one leg, maybe have the hands forward. Another option, if that's too much, is taking your hands behind you onto your chair. And then release your foot to the floor and also release your back. So you can lean forward and shimmy a little bit. Doot, doot, doot. And then come back, do the same thing. Remembering the core strength comes not from your low back. It comes from that pelvis, from the guts, the stomach muscles. As an option, pick up a foot. Keeping it flexed is also another bonus, because you're firing up all the muscles that help support the knee. All right, and then we're going to release. Okay, and then we'll just do that one more time, but this time with awareness into your face muscles. See if anything's clenching, like your tongue, your jaw, your eyebrows. Shoulders. I know that's not the face, but I felt my shoulders trying to inch up. How's your breath? If you want a little extra, you can twist a little bit in each direction, just a tiny bit, and then come back to neutral and release. And come back up. We only have one more to do if you want to. You don't have to. There's no obligation. So I have the other leg lifted. Hands are out, coming from the core space. Trying to breathe, soften. My neck doesn't want to soften. And you can do those little baby twists if you want to. Nothing should hurt. And let's release. Oh boy. And come forward. And a little shoulder shimmy. And let's do a little wide legs with their torso circles here. In both directions. Good. And come back. And ooh, let's sneak in our lunge. I know that's almost everybody's favorite. So a couple of windshield wipers. Holding on to the chair preferably so you don't fall out of your chair. And then we're going to go shifting around to where our right leg's hanging off the front of the chair, pointing straight down. Unless your knee's bothering you, then you're going to want to bring it forward a bunch until it doesn't hurt. So nice and tall with the posture, ankle below knee. We should feel good and stretched out, but it's just like a little punctuation on that flexibility here. And think of shoulders staying stacked right over hips. So sometimes we want to twist toward the back of the chair. We're not doing that here. I'm trying to actually lift up through just the center of the heart, or sternum, to be more accurate. And soften the arm back down if it's lifted. Fire up pelvic floor and core muscles to bring that leg back and around to the other side. Same rules apply. Watch the knee. Take out the word should. So yeah, I should be able to keep it straight down, but if it doesn't feel good, then don't do it. That was always my dad's advice. My head hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that. All right then. A couple more breaths. And you can relax that arm. Fire up your core muscles again to bring the legs back into mountain pose. We're going to take a couple of cat-cows here to neutralize everything, bring it back into symmetry. And then pop back up through your mountain pose. We have enough time to sneak in our pigeon. So hugging the right knee in, and maybe you just stay here if you're not up for pigeon or if you've had a recent hip replacement. So right ankle comes onto left knee, keeping your foot flexed and active. You want to try to have a weight on your knee to draw it closer to the floor. And get nice and tall. You can hinge forward if you want to deepen the stretch. In the background is body awareness. In the foreground is our breath. When you're ready to inhale again, lean back a little bit and unfold the leg, and we'll just kind of reinflate it there. Get the sides and the back of the knee massaged. All right, let's do the other side. I was just thinking, I bet I sounded like I was slurping my water pretty loudly on this thing. I guess we'll see when I post the video. Sorry, apologies. All right, into pigeon on this side. Again, everything's optional. You could modify, you could come down onto your ankle. You could skip it all together. If you're in pigeon, the tendency, if you're really tight, is for that knee to stay up here. And I've even seen people hold it up, but that's not doing you any favors on improving your flexibility. So you want to try to anchor it down, but not force it. All right, one more breath. Next inhale brings us back to neutralize the leg and massage the knee, the back of the knee. And then we can start in on our immune boosting massage. Quiet sip. Massage or rub the hands. We'll start on your right leg, lightly brush stroking up in the direction of your heart. Get the groin, the left leg, and the abdomen, the right arm, and armpits. Left armpits, and get your sternum, that nice light tapping. And we're going to take the tapping up to the mohawk line, to the tops of the ears. About 3 times. And find your thumbs at the base of your skull. Massaging. And then peace fingers sandwich your earlobes. Firm circles around in both directions. And then lighten the pressure. Find the bottom of your jawbone. Lightly brush stroke tap to your chin. And little kitten paws down the front of your throat to your heart. And we will settle in to our final resting pose. And that is why they created yoga, right? So we can do this. This is what it's all about. Finding stillness in comfort. So we can just focus on the breath. And you can do whatever you like with your hands. You can take a mudra. You could have palms up or down, preferably not hanging because it pulls a little bit more on your joints. I like my feet connected to the floor here. If you choose to lay down, that's nice too. So just watching the breath. And then it becomes impossible to stay with the breath for almost everybody, right? Well, no, for everybody. It's just there's a longer span of time with more practice that we stay focused on the breath. Oftentimes it's thoughts that interrupt, or laundry if you're at home, doorbells, whatever it is, just keep going back to your breath. And we have a short time left for our body scan. So again, we're not moving, we're only moving our attention, our awareness, and sometimes I'll even direct my breath to the different body parts. So just start with noticing your face, your head, your throat, your neck. Notice your shoulders, your arms. Notice your hands, the palms and the backs of your hands, and all 10 fingers. Good. Notice the back side of your torso, the shoulder blades, the spine, the low back, and then the front side of your torso, the chest and the belly. And come down with your awareness into the pelvis, the hips. Become aware of your legs, all the way down into your feet, the tops and the bottoms of your feet and all 10 toes. And become aware of your whole body as one whole healthy unit, breathing in and breathing out. And again, just staying with that breath for a few more moments. And we'll slowly start to deepen the breath. Both the inhale and the exhale, of course. And bring in a little movement, wiggling fingers, toes, feet, ankles, wrists. And landing those feet back down onto the floor to rise the arms up. We'll bring the palms together on down to heart center. Take a moment or two or three for gratitude, just thinking of a handful of things that you might feel thankful for today. And I thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to practice your yoga. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your, what is today? It's Friday. Bye.